Most disappointing anime movie I ever watched, or
Mm,
series, I guess, but yeah, it's a series of movies. But
yeah.
the most disappointing anime I've ever watched was the anime Godzilla trilogy. And I think we've talked about that
You,
before on the show.
yeah,
Very, very
I think
disappointed
we
in that.
disagreed on that. I think we disagreed on that to some extent. I think because it wasn't. I'm just gonna come and say it. The third one was definitely a fucking shit show.
Mecha Godzilla City was fucking retarded.
That was yeah, it was honestly fucking dumb. Like if there was a one bit of it that I actually liked, it was only the first one.
Well, here's the thing.
The first one at least kind of made sense.
I loved the idea of Mecha Godzilla being this like nanomachine colony that just kept growing, and I just kept waiting for whenever the Godzilla came back, that Mecha Godzilla
Hmm.
City like would just crack open or something. Basically, would just yeah, and Mecha Godzilla would just crawl out and go fight Godzilla, but then it never fucking happened.
Hmm.
And then Ghidorah's a fucking ghost. Like, come on,
Hmm.
come the fuck on. Like you had like an opportunity to
Yeah,
make
it was so dumb.
the most badass Godzilla. Like you had the budget because the animation was gorgeous. You guys had the budget to make the most
Yeah, because
badass.
it was actually Toei with Polygon Pictures as well.
Yeah,
And
and Netflix got the exclusive rights, which means I to air it in the United States on its debut. So I
yep,
guarantee they put up some of the money for the production.
100%.
So it's so
Look, I'm the thing is that they disagree on is that I think the first movie was actually kind of good until they came out with the quote unquote twist. It was like, oh, that was actually like an offshoot. It was like, what the
yeah,
fuck?
that was a baby Godzilla. The real Godzilla is a whole ass mountain.
What? Nani? Nani?
Nani? But no, I did get kind of hyped for that. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great." The next movie, I hope the next movie's better. But like, I like that twist. I was like, "Oh, got mountain-sized Godzilla."
Yeah, exactly. Like it was like, oh yeah, look, they struggled so hard. It's like, you haven't seen a little eat. Oh wait, yep, nah.
And then, like I said, you get to movie two, and then you find Mechagodzilla City, and you're just like, "Oh, the Mechagodzilla project," and it grew out of control, and it's just like, and it gives them the thingies to fly around in, and you're just waiting. You're just like,
And then everything about the second movie just made it even worse, though. In my opinion, like
yeah,
they just completely fucked it up. Like, not only did they fuck up the concept, right?
yeah.
But they also like really screwed up the what's the word? They really screwed up the I guess the emotional factor of it as well. Like literally everyone that you wanted to survive dies in that second movie,
Oh yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Ex- except for our Bane guy. And
Well,
it's
yeah.
just like
He
what
he
the fuck?
he hit, plot armor, yo.
No, but it's not just that. Like he basically loses his will to live in, in the second movie too. You remember that chick gets corrupted by the nano machines,
Yeah,
and she starts turning into a. It's just like what the fuck.
yeah.
And then by the third movie, you're just like, ah, why am I still watching this?
Oh, did you ever
Why
watch?
am I subjecting?
Did you ever watch?
Why am I subject? Yeah.
Did you ever watch Blue Gender?
Yes.
Like that, yeah. Like that anime took like a hard left turn after they went back to the space colony.
Yeah.
And,
Similar sort of themes. Yeah.
and like, well,
But it's
like
just like.
the final episode, literally, like it's so crazy. Like the final episode, the ones who had the blue shit in their blood or whatever, they all go and they
Mhm.
just restart life on Earth, and a bunch of them decide to stay on the colony, and then a bunch of people on the colony go mad and just start butchering everybody, and then they
Yep.
kill the president, and it's just like, wait a minute, what? Wait, why? I thought you all were happy to live here. Like, what happened? Why were you literally see dudes sitting in the hallway with guns, like with their hands like on their head, like pulling their hair out, like they literally just
Yep.
go mad and start killing everyone, and they don't even tell you why. It just happens.
Just happens.
I
Yep.
I, I have the whole thing on DVD, so if I go back and watch it, I could probably like piece it together again. But
Yeah, but still, it was kind of dumb. But
yeah,
like the thing that yeah, like at the very end where he just says, "Oh, I'm just gonna go commit suicide." It's just like,
yeah, it was not great. It was not great.
and then you see like his descendants, I guess, like a few thousand years later.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see kids with like his hair color and shit, and like the various hair colors of the other people that was with him,
Yeah.
and they're all like praying to Godzilla. Basically, it's just like what. This is some fucking greeny lefty commie bullshit, man.
Yeah, instead of the chant being Masurara, Masura, instead now it's Godzilla, Godzilla. Or it'd be Gojira, but yeah. But no, it is funny to hear Japanese say Godzilla.
hmm.
Not like when they're speaking English, but like they're speaking Japanese. But instead of saying Gojira, they say Godzilla. I don't know why. It just tickles me. I'm just like, hee hee hee. Well, it kind of reminds me of this thing. It's like, okay, so are you a fan of Street Fighter? I know you like Tekken, but
I was when I was a child,
okay,
mostly because of the fact that I found
Cammy.
no Chun-Li.
Oh, I was about to say if you because when I said Cammy, I was hoping you'd say yes. I was gonna say this is why we are brothers, but
No, I don't think I was Cammy in
not in the.
every Street Fighter
No,
or.
she was introduced in Super Street Fighter 2.
See, I think I only played with like the first game because that was the only thing that was the only like arcade box that was available in the local supermarket where I grew up.
Oh yeah,
So I remember liking Chun Li because not dude, I was too young to realize anything like sexual about it.
yeah,
But I remember liking Chun Li because of the fact that she was just like literally a kicking machine, right? And I found E Honda funny.
yeah, because he's fat and shredded at the same time.
Yes, and also, what's his name? The guy with like all the skulls on his and fucking he like
Oh,
elongates his fucking legs and
oh,
arms and
Dulcim,
shit.
Dulcim.
That's him. Yeah, okay. Yeah, those three were the characters that I was like, what the fuck? These are retarded.
I always
This
gravitate.
is so awesome.
I always gravitate towards the classical good hero type. So of course my favorite character always has been Ryu. But
Ryu.
well,
Well, Ryu is an interesting character. Like, despite the fact that he's like very, I guess, stereotypical.
yeah, he's very
Like,
he's a very much a shonen kind of well, not quite a shonen protagonist. Shonen protagonists tend to be kind of not goofy,
he's
but
more like a seinen prota. He's closer
yeah.
to like what's his face again from Fist of the North Star? Ken.
Yeah, like Kenshiro. Yeah, because he
Yeah.
doesn't he has a flat arc. Like Ryu doesn't like change much over the course of the story. It's more about how the
No,
world
he's got a
changes
very
around
clear
him.
sort of like he's
Yeah.
got a very clear moral direction
Yeah,
in what he does.
Ryu just wants to test himself against the best fighters in the world. That's his whole arc. There's not much more to him
Yep.
than that. But he's also a good
Mm-hmm.
person and he wants to help people when he can.
Yep.
But yeah, he's very much just like a classical Japanese character. But the reason why I bring that up is because, like I was saying, it's funny to hear Japanese people actually say Godzilla instead of Gojira, and it reminded me of this. I don't know if you know this or not, but in Japan, Bison is Vega,
Yes.
Vega is Balrog, and Balrog
What?
is M Bison.
What?
Okay, so in the original.
Okay, I know that M Bison is Vega in Japan.
Okay, so you know the characters. Okay, so M Bison, the leader of Shadaloo, red suit, Psycho
Yes.
Crusher guy. Vega, mask,
Yeah.
claw. Balrog is the boxer. Okay.
Oh, Vega's mask, please. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yep.
So,
Yeah.
and in Japan originally, those names were shifted around. The final boss, red suit, Shadaloo leader, is Vega.
Yep.
Balrog
Right.
was the name of the guy with the claw and the mask.
With the,
And,
what the fuck?
and the black boxer's name was M Bison.
Bison.
Instead,
Mike Bison instead of Mike Tyson.
So the reason
Right.
the reason why they changed it whenever they localized it for the United States is because Mike Tyson was very protective of his name at the time, and he had a licensing deal with Nintendo, so they couldn't use it. Like Capcom couldn't use it. So and it was too close to that. So they made they kept the name.
Oh.
They kept the name M Bison.
Oh.
They just shifted the names around. They made the Spanish Ninja. They gave him the vaguely
The Vega.
the
Vaguely Spanish sounding name.
Well,
Yep.
and Vega is a Spanish name. It is a name in Spain. It is a
Yeah, I know, but like,
name, so.
but it's not. This is the thing that me and Toby were talking about yesterday, where the funniest things are always Japanese people trying to make like European sounding names, and just it sounds vaguely European, but it's complete nonsense.
Yeah.
Vega is, yes, it is a Spanish name, but it's not it's not very common.
No, it's not.
Like it's,
But yeah,
I wouldn't even say it's rare. It's just it's one of those that's like it's so archaic that I don't even think I've ever heard of anyone actually having the name Vega in
no, well, and then well, anyway,
a few centuries.
so the M Bison, the boxer, became Balrog, and that's how it was. Like I said, they moved those names around specifically to avoid the Mike Tyson debacle, just in case. Well, anyway,
Holy shit! You don't know how much that information has blown my mind.
Well, here's the thing. That became so worldwide popular because that's the version that also got released in Europe. You know, that PAL or the American translation is also the PAL version, so they got the same thing. M. Bison is the final boss. Vega's the dude with the mask. Balrog is the boxer. So now it's been retroactively retconned on the Japanese, and that officially the dude in the red suit, the final boss, the leader of Shadowloo, has always been called M. Bison. He was now, like, you can go if you watch Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, which is a genuine anime. It's really good too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've seen. Chun-Li is very hot in that.
Yes, she is, and you see her naked. And
yes,
then she,
I know.
And then
That's why I watched it.
yeah, and then she fights Balrog. If you watch the dub, and I know you watch the dub, but or not the dub. If you watch the subtitles, if in that movie.
Yeah, the dubbing is like it's a bit off. Like what?
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is like if you watch I'm saying that's a version that they haven't updated it, but it's like a piece of history because if you watch the original with the Japanese dialogue turned on and watch the subtitles, she calls Vega Balrog, and later on when Ryu and Ken are fighting Bison at the end of the movie, they call him Vega. So it's like a little time capsule. But now in Capcom Japan officially, M. Bison, Vega, and Balrog are who they are.
Oh, this is very similar to You've never watched Evangelion, have you? Like the Eva shit.
No, not the TV series. I did when I was a kid. I watched it. I didn't like it, but I watched the movies recently. The Anno.
The rebuild.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I think we talked about this before.
Yeah. Well, we need to watch the original series at some point. But
no, we should.
I wanted to talk about the one of the original movies from like the 1990s. End of Evangelion.
Yeah.
You know? It's supposed to be like an alternate.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's for those who don't know. I'm just gonna go like do a quick rundown. So, episode 25 and 26 of the original TV series, they had two problems with it. Number one, the studio literally ran out of budget. So, the last two episodes is basically just like a bunch of frames, like pieced together, so that they could make budget for like what they wanted to do for it and shit as well. And also problem number two, apparently literally everyone in the production crew got hit with the same kind of depression that Hideaki Anno got hit with. And so they just could not be fucked to work on the last two episodes. especially because Shinji technically gets a good ending.
Yeah, we can't have that.
Yeah, and apparently we can't have that. And it's like, so to be fair, it wasn't just the production crew. Like a lot of the fans really, really did not like that Shinji got a good ending in the original anime, and that's precisely why End of Evangelion was made.
Yeah, I remember. We did talk about this. You tell me about how like Anno basically made it as a fuck you to the fans who shit on him for the way he chose to end the story the first time.
Yep. And then because of just how fucking violent End of Eva was, he was like, oh, it's a fuck you to the fans, and then it's like, yeah, the fans actually liked it.
Yeah, so now apparently, if you hear some Eva fans, the Rebuild series of movies is his second attempt to fuck you to the fans.
And he actually succeeded, because fuck the Rebuild series.
I only watched, there's 4 of them, right? I only watched the first 2, and then I haven't finished the third one, and I haven't seen the fourth one yet. I want to go back and watch them all.
The fourth one is a giant fuck you.
Well, here's the thing. I don't have the emotional attachment to Evangelion that you do, so I think that's why I was able to enjoy them.
No. See, I liked the first 2. And I was genuinely excited about the third movie because I was like, wow, eye patch Asuka. That's pretty sexy.
Hot.
And to be fair, like she's 28 now, so she's legal. Anyway, point being, right, is that in End of Evangelion, there's a very infamous scene, okay? Because in episode 20, I think episode 22 or episode 23, right, of the original series, Asuka gets hit with an angel that only attacks her psychologically,
Ugh.
and so she ends up being catatonic, right? And in the beginning of End of Eva, Asuka is not only catatonic, she's actually comatose. She's, she's not conscious. She's just in a hospital bed,
Yeah.
right? And Shinji, because of like what's been happening to him, he's basically on the verge of a mental breakdown as well.
Oh wow, classic Shinji.
Yep, he's on the verge of a mental breakdown, and like the competition between them has basically just been one of his pillars.
Yeah.
And because now that Asuka's gone, he's distraught. Like he's there by her bedside, and what happens is he shakes her bed / stretcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
And while complaining about like, oh, why aren't you here? Why aren't you awake? I need you. And in doing so, he rips her shirt open.
Nice.
So he sees her tits, and in the movie, he then starts masturbating over her. Right? Now, here's the thing. In the original that I saw, and I will swear my life on the line for this. When he comes all over her.
God damn.
And then you go on this thing where like part of his cum spray is on his hands, and he's like, God, I'm so fucked up, right? Like that's a meme now, yeah. But then when I watched this with a few people, a couple of years ago, they completely skipped the part where he fucking sprays all over her, all over her stomach, and all over her tits and shit, and it just skips to the frame where he looks at his hands, and he goes, "Oh, I'm so fucked up."
Jesus Christ.
So it's like, and then right, like, so in the later part of End of Eva, when everything is fucking falling apart around them, right, and Misato, is lecturing him over some bullshit. She actually, like, if you know enough about, like, if you know the original context of the scene, she actually lectures him about, like, why are you comforting yourself and hiding behind the skirts of a little girl at a time like this when everything is fucking falling apart, right? That scene, that line doesn't make sense. Like the way she says it in Japanese, it doesn't make any sense unless Misato knows that he left his cum all over her, all over Asuka. So, you know what I mean? Like that line doesn't. So what you said about Street Fighter just reminded me of that, because that line doesn't make sense unless they found evidence that he was there in the hospital bed with Asuka when the whole fucking place is falling apart. And the only way that they could have evidence of him being there, because the place that the hospital ward supposedly does not have cameras. The only evidence is if he left his cum stains all over Asuka.
The commander chick, the one with black...
Misato,
Misato. Okay, I couldn't remember her name. Yeah, the one that takes Shinji in whenever he joins the Eva team. She's best girl.
You think she's best girl?
100%. No, look. This is total. This should be textbook Palpy. Okay, because think about it. She's of all the girls in the show, she's the tallest. I like tall.
Mm-hmm.
I like
but
hold on. I like dark hair.
Yeah.
And I like aggressive women. And she's like the way she fucking like. The way she like is constantly like half tempting Shinji like all the time, like purposely like walking around in like next to no clothes and like bending over in front of him. Just like so he can see down her shirt.
Yeah.
Like the idea of being 15 years old and having like a 28-year-old woman do that to me is just best girl.
See, I would agree with you, except for the fact that Misato is not in the running for the Shinji Cup, so she doesn't count.
Oh, a best girl in whole show can only be the pro tags options.
That's what my rule has always been.
Oh no, fair enough. And that
like
case,
in terms of like, because for example, if I were to pick, like, say, the first thing that comes to mind is a visual novel that I played ages ago called the Koito Senkyo Chocolate. So essentially, it's like, it's about high school elections and trauma and bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, point is, in that series, best girl for me, if she was an option, was gonna be the teacher, because she is literally like what you just described. She's very comfortable with the protagonist. She's very, she's quite open. Like they get along really well, but she's not an option.
Yeah.
She's not an option, and therefore you cannot have her be best girl. The difference is, Palfi, in Rebuild of Evangelion, I think it's been retconned so that Misato is an option. So maybe you have some points there.
Oh, well, maybe.
Maybe. Because I'm not going to spoil you for what happens in the third and fourth movies. But
Shinji getting the goddamn robot.